This is Morning Motivation for Educators on the Bee Podcast Network. Learn about all the shows at beepodcastnetwork.com. You'll hear from a variety of formal and informal educators who help put this podcast together. If you'd like to contribute your voice to this show, please go to morningmotivationedu.com to apply.
Hello, I'm Joey Massio, a former middle school teacher and counselor turned full-time teen coach and speaker. I help teens stop feeling like the sidekick in their own story and get more control over their lives by building confidence, managing emotions, and creating motivation so they can be the character in their story they were born to be, the hero. You can check out all the ways that I help tweens and teens, including my new gamified mindset training app, Sidekick to Hero, over at my website, joeymassio.com. Today, I want to talk about the difference between being cocky and being confident. This can help you as you work with teens that are struggling with self-confidence and giving you the line, well, I don't want to be cocky or arrogant or whatever. It can help you in dealing with those teens, help them still come out of their shell and still develop self-confidence. It can also help you, maybe, right? Because in my experience of working with lots of people, but mostly teens, is that when a teen says, yeah, I don't want to be cocky, they're kind of using that as permission to stay in self-doubt. I was coaching a teen recently. She's a senior in high school. She's a dancer. She's in this kind of higher level dance group. And she was saying that she's not as good as the other girls. And as I was coaching her on that, I said, well, your thought is that all these other girls are so talented. Like every single other girl in this group is very talented. And then there's me. And I said, well, what does that say about you, though? You're in this group where every single other girl is really talented. You're pretty talented too, then, right? And she goes, well, and kind of gave us a shy smile and said, well, I don't want to be cocky. And I had to stop the whole conversation because I was coaching her on self-doubt and she couldn't get herself to say, I am a good dancer because of that line, I don't want to be cocky. Is there a middle ground here, right? Like there's a spectrum. Let's say cocky's on one side and self-doubt's on the other. When we're in self-doubt, we tell ourselves that, well, if I get rid of the self-doubt, then I'll jump all the way over to cocky. And I don't want to do that. So I'll just stay in this self-doubt land, which does not serve anybody, especially you. So there is totally a middle ground here, and the middle ground is self-confidence. So complimenting ourselves is not being cocky. It's okay to admit that you are good at something. And it's okay to tell people about it. It's not bragging, right? I mean, here's 2 tips on how to not come off as bragging. First, don't let your mind involve other people. You don't need that. You can say, I'm a good dancer. You don't need to say, I'm better than somebody else. Or, oh yeah, well, I'm really good, huh? Well, how about that? You don't need to be better than Steve or Sarah or whoever. Right? That leads us to want to bring down other people and not root for others. So you can still compliment yourself. I'm really good, and I want other people to be really good as well. Second, don't be surprised by it, right? Like don't let your talents be a surprise to you. That comes off as, oh, can you believe it? I did that amazing thing. Hey, you, come listen. I did this amazing thing. And you over there, like everybody should know that I did this. Isn't this great? It's like you didn't know that you could earn an A on the test or that you could medal in that competition. You should always know that you are capable of doing amazing things. So when you're telling people just facts, hey, I got this medal. Hey, I think I'm really good at this. It's not going to be an inflated story that you're elaborating to convince them of this awesome thing you just found out about. So other people might think you're bragging if you say something like, I'm a really good dancer, or insert whatever you're good at there. So other people might think you're bragging, and that's okay. That's something that they are creating. And that line, I don't want to be cocky, I don't want to be a braggadocio, which I think is just the best word ever. you're only being cocky when you can't admit you are bad at something. So in the spectrum, cocky, confident, self-doubt, there's two ways of saying, I'm really good at blank. One way is kind of looking over your shoulder and being like, hey, guess what? I'm a really good dancer. Yeah. And then the second way is humbly admitting it. Hey, you know what? Yeah, I am. I'm a really good dancer. And it seems more likely, that second way seems more likely to be real, and that you would also admit your flaws as well. Because someone who is cocky or braggadocio, is my opinion, they can admit that they're bad at something else, or that they're a good dancer, but they're not the best at this type of dance or this move. They can't do that because that would break their whole identity that they need to feel confident that, well, I need to be a good dancer. I need to be better than other people. This needs to be something that's just true. And I can't admit that I'm bad at a part of this or bad at something else. Because I'll just say, well, yeah, I might be bad at this, but look at me over here. I'm a great dancer. So ultimately, it comes across as cocky from my observance when our whole identity is swallowed up in our achievement or our skill. So when you're talking to a teen, right, a student in whatever capacity you work in education, or as you're talking to yourself, don't let them stay in self-doubt because they're afraid of being cocky. We need more self-assurance. We need more self-confidence in the world. Humbly confident is the best mix. Admit your talents and your skills. Admit your flaws. Then you can strike that perfect middle ground of being self-confident and not living in the land of self-doubt or of braggadocio.
Thanks for listening. And whatever role you have in education, we have a podcast for you at bpodcastnetwork.com. Who among your friends and colleagues needs to hear this message today? Please share it with them right now.